Let's talk about life, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the truth and consciousness. Divinity. Let's talk about God. Let's talk about love.
Welcome to Spiritual Nerd Presents, and I'm one of your hosts, Ninette Terhart.
And I'm the other one, Linda O'Connell.
What? Hey girl, what's going on? And you know what time it is.
It's time for some real talk
about healing, y'all.
Well, welcome to episode 3. Today's episode is Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. And we're talking about perceptions turning into reflections. So I have a caller, Linda, that called a couple weeks ago, and I thought, well, it's perfect for this show. So I want to play it. It's from a John Gray. Okay, so here we go.
Yes, hello. Good afternoon, ladies. My name is John Gray. First and foremost, I want to say thanks for the material. It's been a great program so far. A friend told me about it. Enjoying it. That said, I'm 64 years old. I lost my Deborah 9 years ago. And we'd been together for almost 30 years. That said, I did take a couple years to deal and to mourn, as they say, but I have been dating now for going on 7 years. Well, I've been with some wonderful gals. Most of them, in fact, all of them have been considerably younger than me. Now, this has been fun. And my friends are like, hey, oh, bravo, John. And it's been great in some ways, but the bottom line is I haven't been able to really find that gal to spend the rest of my life with, which is really something I'd like to do. What I'm finding is that I have no trouble finding these younger gals, in the early to mid 40s kind of thing. And a lot of these gals have been great, but very similar. They want to go out, they want to do this, they want to do that, but I'm just in a different frequency and place right now. I'm wondering if you can tell me how I can change the gals I'm meeting and possibly meet someone so that so I don't grow old by myself, because I still have a lot of love to give. At least I think so. Thanks very much.
Thanks, John. That's a great call, actually. And so we're talking about perceptions turning into reflections, and I think this is very in sync with what we're talking about. And I would love to read, actually, the dictionary's meaning of perception.
Yeah.
So here we go. The ability to see, hear, or become aware of something through the senses. The normal limits to human perception. The state of being or process of becoming aware of something through the senses, and then a way of regarding, understanding, or interpreting something, a mental impression. Wow, I think we need a different perception of perception.
I think you're right.
Yeah. So there's definitely more to perception than this, and I think we're talking more about all of that, all those concepts. We were talking about that just before we started the show, Linda, the concepts that we hold in our mind, and then
A lot of them.
wham.
Yes. You have a lot of concepts, a lot of beliefs. This is a world of beliefs and concepts.
Yeah.
And they're all in our mind. And we are reflecting those back at us with our projections, our beliefs from our mind. It's going outward, and it's being reflected back in these other bodies, these other forms, which we're all dream images.
Yeah.
Because bodies are not real. So through these other bodies, these beliefs and concepts are coming back at us.
Yeah. So John, I think for John, it's a thing about going deeper, the process of going deeper. If you really want to experience something on this plane, these opportunities of what we think are like, oh, I wish I could meet this or that. But these are there, those expressions, those projections are there in order for us to go in and say, okay, what are these bringing up in me?
Yeah.
What can I heal? What can I heal in my mind so that these don't need to be presented to me anymore? Like we said, like the pie in the face with that thing. That's what it is. It's a definite bam. You can't ignore a pie in the face. Well, you can.
It's true.
But after a while.
That's right. Yeah. So when we get hit in the face with this stuff, it's like, golly, that really annoys me, or that just really bothers me about these women. It's coming from within us. It's
Excellent.
within us. And it's all of these thoughts, concepts, beliefs, they're negative. And they are of the world, of this dream.
Yeah.
Because the only thing that is real is love. That's what's real. So these thoughts that we look at that are not loving, that are not kind, the ego says, oh, bad. You should not be thinking like that. You shouldn't feel that way about them. And the Holy Spirit says, I want them. Feel them. Feel all of them. How do you really feel about that woman? What is it about these women that is coming up right in your face that just irks you, that you don't like, that she's not the one? What is it that's really bothering you? And every single one of these things goes back to the belief in separation.
Yeah.
We are separate from God. And so now there's some kind of lack, or there's some kind of belief, something going on that that is reflecting this in some way. So it's great. No one is bad. No one has ever done anything wrong. We want this stuff to come up. We want to look at it. The Holy Spirit wants us to. Like, okay, you're feeling that? Good. All right. You noticed it? Yeah.
Well, we got to remind everyone listening that the ego will kick up its heels and have a temper tantrum because it doesn't want, that part of your mind doesn't want to awaken. Because if it awakens, the ego will be seen for what it is, which is nothing.
That's right. That's right.
Remember that. A lot of people, like, when you say like Holy Spirit and all this, and yes, when you're reading A Course in Miracles or other sort of literature, and that kind of resonates for you. But we're talking about that higher aspect of your mind that knows the truth of your oneness. Oneness, yeah. And the ego is another aspect of the mind that really doesn't exist, but because we believe it does, we are experiencing its projections. Yes. Because we have fallen asleep to the fact of our own divinity. Yes. And I think that's a lot for people to sometimes like, oh, I'm divine. It's like, no, not like bougie divine. I'm saying, yes, in the oneness, you're sacred. Yes. Kevin Rice talks a lot about that. He's like, you're not special. You're not unique. You are sacred. You're sacred. We are one with each other. Now, John mentioned a theme. He said there's some sort of theme going on where they all want to sort of do this and that. And so, maybe for John, he could write this down, like this reoccurring theme. What does that mean for your mind? That could be something to look at. Yeah, exactly. What is that? That'd be a great thing to look at. If there's any type of a pattern going there, then you just hand it over. Because it's just a belief. Just hand it over. Because the ego is nothing more than a negative thought system. It's a negative thought system. And we are in a world of this negative thoughts. So when we really look at them, instead of feeling ashamed of them or guilty or rejecting them, or he could just keep going on to the next. He could just, but it will still continue to reflect what's really within him, and it's fine. It's within all of us. Yeah. We are not our thoughts. We are not these thoughts. We are not.
We are love and light.
Yeah.
So these thoughts just need to go. And the Holy Spirit wants them. So what he was being reflected back at him, this pattern, if he just looks at it and feels it, what is this really about that bothers me? What is this, that says, this just isn't for me?
Yeah.
He can look at that and just say, okay, it just needs to be handed over. And sometimes these things are slow burns, and you have to keep at it. Like, okay, there it is again. So you're going to hand it over again. Other times, I've had times where these things weren't so deep, and I've cleared them the first time by handing them over. It's like, and then I tried to remember what it was that just bothered me and was irking me. Like, oh yeah, what was that thing I was doing? And it's like, I don't remember at all.
Yeah,
it's just
gone. Poof.
Yes. It's like, okay, great. It's great that that's gone.
Well, I think, Linda, you said something really important there about feeling the embarrassment, feel the anger or whatever. And I'm starting to see how when you allow that, we talk about that with Myron Jones, Reverend Myron Jones. What a little shout out. Come on, girl. We are so used to not allowing ourselves to feel those because we have this guilt. Oh, I shouldn't feel that. I shouldn't think that, like you said.
Yeah.
But once you get in the habit of allowing, and it might feel weird and gross at first, it always does.
Yeah, because they're ego thoughts.
Because they're right. And
that's weird and gross.
Yeah. You'll start to feel them break up, and they have less and less velocity, less and less density.
That's right.
And then you'll be able to get in there every time. Yes, at first it's like starting a new workout plan or a diet, or you're learning a new skill. At first it always feels awkward. And I just, Lloyd said something, Lloyd Lapp, in my interview with Stephanie Finn and Lloyd Lapp about holy relationships. He said something really cool, Linda. He said, do not stop at the rim of the edge of fear. Don't stop there.
Yes.
Move through that, Yes.
Let it run.
Let it kind of move through. And what was that? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Just let it keep running. Allow it to run. Feel it. Don't try to shut it down. Don't go, oh, that's fear. Feel it. Let it run, and give it to the Holy Spirit. Just hand it over. This is not what I am. I don't need this.
Yeah.
I have no interest in this any longer. Fear is not real.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as fear. The ego is not real. These are just thoughts, and the thoughts that just need to be dissipated. They need to dissipate, and the Holy Spirit shines the light on these, and they dissipate.
Yeah, and I know to some people it sounds like, Holy Spirit, shine the light on me. I mean, it's a nice song and all that, but legitimately, folks, I'm getting down straight with y'all.
That's right.
That's the truth of it. It's the emotions are there as a GPS. It's saying, yo, I need to have a minute of let me be. Let it come up.
Yes.
It's perfect.
Not only is it perfectly all right, it's important. It really is important. If we want to be free of this stuff, we can't do it on our own. We've said that before. Yeah. I can't just will it away, but I can have the willingness to do this work. It's a process. Bam. It's work. It's a process. But, I've been doing this for a lot of years now, and it's to the point where when an ego is so sneaky, it's like, don't pay attention to this, but I'm like sneaking this little one in here, and you just sit in it for a while, and and you just be miserable, and you feel this, and I'm just feasting off of it because it's how the ego survives. It can only survive off its negativity, and so when we get in there and do this, it's just tricky. But when you have the mindset that you're just not going to put up with it anymore. And people are awakening this way. People are waking up to the truth. Yeah. That we don't have to live like this. We don't have to be in it. We don't have to suffer.
Yeah.
We can We can look at it for what it is, hand it over, and we can be free of it. These belief systems, we're gonna, I think I've mentioned this before, pretty soon we're gonna be going into the holidays. Oh boy. What an ego feast that is.
Ego fiesta right there.
Oh, but I've gone all through that. Yeah, really. And everybody sits in that with the ego is just really telling you all these expectations of other people, expectations of family, expectations of what this holiday should be like.
Yeah.
And when those family members and those friends don't comply, then, oh my gosh, you're hurt, you're angry, you're disappointed, you're all of these negative things, and the ego is just like, yum, yum, yum.
Oh, yeah.
And then the judging at the Thanksgiving table, that's a real party for the ego, too. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the key here, too, is to remember, because some people are like, well, how do I know the difference? Ego is contractive.
Yes.
Holy Spirit and the oneness and the truth of what you are is expansive.
Yes. Yes.
So if you're in a tug of war and you're like, well, if you feel in any way like you got something in the throat or the chest or the heart, and there's
doesn't feel good.
That's ego, dudes.
Stress.
Yeah, and then if you make a clear decision of handing that over, or like, I gotta look at this a different way. Help me to see this in a different light. You'll feel that non-judgment, you'll feel that expansiveness. And
Yes.
that is undeniably the way.
Yeah. You just relax. You're like, ooh. Because we are one. No one is left out. No one is bad. No one is wrong. Yeah. It's just these thoughts. And as we all learn to do this, it gets better.
Yeah.
It gets better and better. You become free. You're just free. Yeah, you're like, oh gosh, I could look around my neighborhood and whatever. It's like, this is all just me, appearing as different bodies, but it's one.
Imagine, now I really am starting to understand, and I know we've talked about it before, but in Disappearance of the Universe, by Gary Renard, when Persa says, you heal the mind so much that you just look at the world in a very soft way. There's no judging, there's no expectation, there's just nothing. It's just a soft sort of understanding of what it really is about.
You begin to realize that the criticisms and the grievances and the judgments are ridiculous because you're doing this about a dream. Yeah. This is about a dream, an illusion. Yeah. So the ego is busy keeping us contracted.
Very distracted.
Thinking about what it is we want, what it is we're looking for, what it is we need, how we're going to get it. It's just all these thoughts and just keeping us very, very busy. And the world is nothing but change in this world. So when people awaken, when they're forgiving everything, when they're realizing this, that they're actually free. They don't have to be prisoner to these thoughts and beliefs.
Yeah, and that's what we've been, a slave. We've been, when you were like, we're being led around by the nose ring like a bull.
Like a bull. That's like a bull with a big nose ring. Like, okay, here goes ego.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank John Gray for calling in, and please keep the calls coming in because they're great. And
Me too. That was a great one. Thank you so much, John. I loved it.
We're two gal pals, really kind of just shooting the shit about all things spiritual. And, this is just really important stuff. On this plane, it feels very important to awaken.
Sharing is important.
Sharing is important. A lot of people are having that calling. They can feel it. And we believe we're, here. And so if we believe we're here and we're experiencing this at this time, we got to follow that calling. And
yes, exactly right.
Expanding the awareness of that we're more than just this one part of ourselves.
We certainly are. And we can do something about this. Yeah. We can do something about the suffering. Mm-hmm. We just don't need to believe in it anymore. We just need to place it where it needs to go.
Exactly. And now we're waking up to that. Any final thoughts you want to share before we wrap up today?
Well, my final thought is I just think this is so much fun. And I'm so excited to hear how many people are listening and they're talking about it. And please keep these questions coming in. I love to hear them. I just love to be one of those people like you that loves to share what we've learned, because it's real. We're experiencing the shift, the difference, and it's real. It's true. It works.
And all that matters is, like, you could be listening to one thing, and if one bell gets wrong, dude, you're on to the next bell. So it's like, we have to remember, and my final note is, we have to remind ourselves, we are infinite spirit, period. Like, bam, isn't it?
That's right.
You know, so I want to thank Linda so much for hanging. You're my girl. What?
Always fun. I love it. So much fun.
Okay, kids, we will see you soon. And thank you so much for listening.
Let's talk about life, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the truth and consciousness, divinity. Let's talk about God. Let's talk about love.